Hello, 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 and welcome to another live stream here on the Here to Record YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining in. Let me know if you can hear and see me just fine, but otherwise, I guess we can get started with the show. Lots to get through today for sure. I've mentioned a few things already in the thumbnail and the title, talking about H2R Graphics in beta, which is very exciting times. Also, we have lots of other things to discuss. Actually, let me just show the usual little list of things we're going to get through today. H2R Gear features, I have a few of those. I can come to those a bit later. H2R Graphics animated lower thirds, something I was working on this weekend. 5-minute intro video. Actually, it ended up being 8-minute intro video, and then a new YouTube channel. But we can come back to all of that fun stuff in a few minutes for sure. For now, I just want to see where people are tuning in from and watching the show from. I did ask at the start what time it was where you are, and I did see a few people there mention Ken in the UK. It was I guess it's about 6 o'clock now for you there, 7 o'clock now for you, Casper, in the Netherlands. Excellent. GMT almost 5 where you're at, Gilbert, and the classic one, Ryan in Sydney, Australia, at 3:54 a.m. I guess now it's 4 a.m., but that's still pretty early. And people from all over the place as usual, which is really nice to see. I'm always happy to see lots of different countries and time zones mentioned here. Hello, everybody. Greetings from Hanover, Germany at 7 p.m. on a sunny day. It looks like nice weather there in Germany as well. That's nice to see. It's certainly not 16-ish degrees here. It's a little bit colder, but not much colder. Now I think we can come back to, well, actually, loads more people mentioned India at 10:30 at night. Yes, me and you have chatted a few times before, and you are not on the hour ahead of me, but on the 45 or 15-minute ahead. It got very confusing all the time. 10 o'clock there, 1 o'clock in Canada. I really like this. I like to see what time it is for everybody. Always fun to see people just joining from random times all over the place. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And I missed a bunch there. There was more than I even imagined to answer that question. So thank you so much. Watching from Ireland here, Richard. Excellent. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. And yes, Ken, you're absolutely right. Facebook has shut down in honor of my event today. I did see Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp had a bit of a malfunction before I went live today. Obviously, nothing to do with me, but I'm happy to see it wasn't a usual, or not usual, but one of those classic outages in all sorts of places that affect lots of stuff. Seems like it was just that kind of Facebook world, so we should be good. I don't use that for anything here on the stream, so we should be good so far. So let's crack through a few bits of business before we head into H2R Graphics, but they're all connected. New YouTube channel. So I kind of realized not that long ago that I had lots of apps stuff to discuss and apps related updates like version updates. What's new in version 2.2, version 2.3, and so on and so forth. And I didn't really want to throw all of those videos on this main channel. So what I've done instead is created this secondary YouTube channel, and I'll just drop a link to that in the chat real quickly here. I can do that through here. There you go. You can head over there and subscribe if you want to. I'd love to have you there. But the idea behind this channel is that I'm going to be showing lots of app focused things. So if you are interested in that stuff, which I'm hoping you are, if you've joined the stream today, I'm sure that you're interested in the applications and stuff like that that I'm working on. Right now I only have a couple of videos in there. I have a couple of H2R layout tutorial videos, and then today I just posted this video. I don't know if this is going to blast my ears. No, I got it on time. This is very much the actually almost 9-minute video on the introduction to H2R Graphics version 2. I very much recommend that you watch this video before you start using H2R Graphics v2. Now you don't have to, of course. The application should really stand up by itself, but what I wanted to do was make a video just to get people up to scratch on what they can expect when they download the app. I've shown it on the live streams a few times here, but I realized that that's like a 60-minute video for you to find your way through. So I made this shorter video as a here's what's sort of different in this new version and how it works. And it should get you pretty far. It won't get you all the features. There wasn't enough time to talk about all the features. But it'll get you pretty far. Here's one sub done from MT. Thank you so much, MT. Good to have you subbed on that new channel. And I encourage the rest of you to do so if you're interested in that. I will if I get to, I can just show that link on here. See, it's too long, it even runs off the screen. If I get to 100 subscribers on there, I can get a custom channel name. So that's what I'm pushing for right now. And it's a pretty long URL right now. So that's the new YouTube channel. Lots of more stuff going on there. I'd really like to do, and let me know if you're interested in this kind of stuff, but I'd really like to do some more sort of behind the scenes-ish kind of stuff on the app development. And I would love to do some sort of live streams as well. Maybe not when I'm doing some heavy coding stuff, because that would be a huge distraction. I know that. But if I'm just working on some little bits and pieces, then I could jump on a live stream, talk through it, get some ideas along the way, and that would be really fun to do. It's something I'd really like to get done. And Fast Eddie says 92 subs, so we're almost there. Thank you so much to anybody who subscribed already during this stream, or before it actually. I did put that link out a few days ago, and I'm really happy to see people interested in it, so that's great. All right, next, we're going to get deep into H2R Graphics stuff, but I thought that I could at least start by showing... no, actually, let's just get into that right now. That would make sense, I think. So, you might have seen a while ago on the channel that I talked about H2R Graphics, and I shared this new website, H2R.graphics, which is basically the new homepage for graphics stuff. I can show this message here. The new homepage for graphics stuff, which is where all of this is going to live for the V2, and eventually the V1 website will be pushed towards here whenever I'm work things through a little bit. There's not that much content on here just yet, but you do have the option to sign up for a newsletter, which is what you should do if you want to get your access to the beta version of H2R Graphics version 2, because today I sent out an email to the people who had already subscribed to that list, more than 500 people, which was loads more than I actually anticipated for this beta version, but that's excellent to see. So today, if you've already subscribed to that, you should have gotten that link in your email today to go to the download page. But if you don't, then just let me know on email or on Discord, and I'll be sure to get you in there. Now, I'm keen not to put lots of downloads and the applications behind things like this sign up form. I'm pretty keen to do that, but I can see I already hit 100 subs. That's excellent. I'm keen not to do that usually, but for this purposes, I really wanted to keep people informed as much as possible. And that's what I found with the old version, is that plenty of people might be still using older versions of the old version. So I kind of want to keep people up to date. And over time, I'll maybe change the way that you can get the application. But for now, I really recommend signing up for the newsletter. And then within a few minutes, you should get the welcome email. And it looks like MT, thank you so much for saying, John, you already reached 100, so I can stop talking about it. Excellent. Casper, thank you for letting me know that as well. That was quick. Excellent. Appreciate that. So at least 100 people will get to see all these videos when they're posted about the applications and stuff. Member here of the channel, Mama Motion Pictures. Hi there. Looking forward to seeing some fresh H2R stuff. Exactly. So I don't think in this stream I will necessarily show off too much more stuff that you haven't seen already, because I think since I last did a full video about H2R Graphics, I haven't changed too much. But I'm happy to dig in if anybody has any specific questions. And if you got the email today already, and you've been playing with it, and you have some thoughts or something that's not very clear, then just let me know and I can show it off today. Enjoy some water while I keep talking. 100 subs just to start, thousands to go. Exactly. It's going to be a slow climb. And Joel says, people from OH joining in, office hours, welcome. Thanks so much for dropping on by and joining in. I appreciate it a lot. Like I said, over on H2R.graphics is where you want to go to get started if you want to get your hands on the beta version of the application. This is what the website looks like. There's not much in there right now, except for the video that I created to sort of get you started with H2R Graphics V2. And then sign up for the email so you can grab yourself a copy, and I'll send you that copy off. And from there, you can play with it, have some fun with it, and I think you'll hopefully enjoy it as much as I've been enjoying it. It's a real departure from the older version, and in fact, I haven't used the older H2R graphics in months now because I've been using this new V2 for all of my productions. Well, all of these live streams I do at home here, and I haven't looked back. I've just been adding the features in as I see them and as I need them, and that's kind of worked really well. So if I hit a wall on a feature I really needed, then it was time for that feature to make it into the new version. Speaking of features that are not in the new version, I have showed off plenty already. So let me just actually, why don't I just drag this window over here, and we may as well talk a little bit about H2R graphics while we're here. So in the past, I've given you an intro to this rundown page, the control page, where you can do all of the fun stuff like create, update, and delete graphics. And for example, if you go into edit mode and then you add a new graphic, you can add all sorts of things like maybe a web page, or for this case, a social comment, which I'm using for these on-screen graphics right now, as you can see. And also you can add things like tickers and images and all that good stuff. I don't know if I actually have any images here added. Let me just pop over to my media section. And yeah, I do have one image in there, so I can add that. Go into the add section, add an image, and then from here, it gives me a little preview of what the image is going to look like. But in my case, I want to choose the image specifically, the brainstorm. So there it is. And then, let me see. I can bring that on air. It should take over the whole screen, which it did. Let me just take it off air again. And in my positioning settings, I'll really just pull down the size of that and show it again. I'm just in the background here, just switching between a few different screens just to make sure I'm doing what I expect to be doing. And I can move that out of the way, maybe down to the bottom here. So you can see that, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily want to do a full slideshow like this, but you could certainly do some images like this. Bring them in, switch between them, and then and use it like that. The way I see this is you maybe would change this to like a logo and put it on the top corner or something, just like your channel logo or maybe your brand logo or something like that. That would work really well. Let me just get rid of that again. And what else? What else kind of interesting things? There's lots of stuff in here that I started to dig into on that video that I made, and then I backtracked a little because I realized there was I mean, it would have been a long video if I just kept talking about all the different features, that's for sure. Ryan says earlier, congrats on releasing version 2 to the world. Yeah, it's been fun. I started working on V2 in December of last year, and I slowly worked on it until I quit my job in May. And then as soon as that happened, it was, full steam ahead creating this. By July, we went into alpha testing, and then I guess summer has slowed the thing down a little bit, but there's been loads of people. I'm super appreciative of anybody in the alpha tester private group over on Discord. You have added so much to this over the last few months and tested so many things and broken it so many times, and then I've tried to fix it after you break it. So yeah, it's been a fun process, that's for sure. Randy says, just installed beta version of H2R Graphics on my old 2010 Mac Mini. Is there a way to import settings from version 1? There's not currently. That's something I did want to address. I wouldn't mind making some sort of a application or port over from V1 style thing. I think it'd be good to have, definitely. But for now, whenever you launch V2, you'll just have to start from scratch and do stuff. I'd be interested to see what kind of stuff people want to bring over. A lot of it is really different now in terms of, in fact, it's all completely different now in terms of customization, everything like that. So it would be interesting what kind of stuff you might want to bring over. If it's just content, then that's definitely very possible. But I think a lot of the styling stuff will be quite hard to map from one to the other for now. But I'd be interested to hear from you, Randy, on the chat here or maybe later on Discord, what kind of stuff you think might be missing. And oh, apologies, I totally missed a super chat that came in here. Thank you so much, Gabby, saying a small contribution. Thanks for your hard work. I appreciate that a lot. My apologies. I don't have my window very accessible here on Chrome today, so I didn't even get to see that, but that's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Let me see if I can keep an eye on that a little bit better. But yeah, appreciate it a lot. Thank you. Let me see what else I missed here as I went through the other screens. Let me see. Okay. We can. Joel says we can. Oh, you're talking to someone else. You can soon expect H2R Records to have a H2R version 2 Pi version as well. Yeah, it's something I've been definitely looking into a lot. So you'll notice if you go to the download, click on the link in the email that you get, you'll see that there is only macOS and Windows versions for now. Some of the reason behind that is because I'm not entirely comfortable in Linux right now, and therefore I didn't want to make anything that might break. The old version I waited a while before I went to Linux, and in this case I'm doing the same, and it's the same for the Pi version as well. I'm kind of keen just to really iron out some more issues that might pop up now that we're in beta, and then I can fix any more things as time goes on after that. What's nice though is, and this is something I've done before, and I know some other people even did it. Someone mentioned they did it today on their end. But if I just get rid of that comment for a second and show you that screen, and then I open up my launcher page, which opened on the other desktop. 1 second, there we go. You can see that, yes. So something that I've added to this version, which is one of the main reasons that really I would recommend using this version, is that not only can you open windows that are sort of local to the computer, again, it opened on another screen. This is the window here. Not only can you do that, but you can also open windows anywhere on your network based on this IP address, port, and some URL details. So if I copy that and I open up my Chrome window, paste that in here, then you'll see that the same window opens up in Chrome. It's white right now, but that's because it's a transparent background with no graphics on it. But if I show this graphic here, let me see, from where do we have a graphic that has some text here? Hi, from SA, you can see the graphic shows up not only on my output, but also on this Chrome window. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because not only can I open this URL here on this computer, but I can also copy and paste, well, I guess type that into my Pi and show the same output, which works really well. I wouldn't say I've fully tested it on all sorts of things. Like for example, if you have a custom font on your local computer that's not on the Pi, then it's not going to show up on the Pi without you installing it on the Pi, that font. So there are lots of edge cases that I need to figure out for sure. But I'm really quite happy with how it kind of works. I've used it in multi-output mode, again, another feature that's on its way, multi-output mode, to run 3 Pis simultaneously from the one project, showing different graphics on each of the Pis. And it worked pretty well. Again, some optimization could be done, but I'm really happy with it. So that's where we're at right now in terms of Pi. It's a good output tool on the same network, but there's no Pi build just yet. That was a long answer to a short question. I'm lit here, multitasking here, and watching your live stream and doing an event. That's good to hear. Yeah, I know you said you were busy during this stream, but nice of you to join and watch along. Randy followed up with the question, import the colors and the logo. I had also set up lower thirds CSS that faded between colors. Yeah, okay. Good to know that's the kind of stuff you want to bring from the old version over to the new version. Not necessarily something that I have built in right now, but if I hear more of a sort of demand or a need for that kind of stuff, then I can make that happen. And if there's any specifics in there that I can help with already, which I don't think there are just now, but if there are, then you can always reach out to me and we can make it happen for sure. Ken says I would love to use SVG files on the Mac version of H2R Graphics V2. Interesting. Yeah, that's something that could definitely be possible. I'd be interested to hear what kind of output you'd expect from that. So, for example, instead of an image, would you want it to be an SVG that you could place wherever you wanted? Um, but since it's all browser based, basically, if you can open it in a browser, which you can with SVGs, then I can see that being very useful, definitely. Jimboku says on V1, I get a custom theme package from David Joshua Ford. That's one thing I'd like to bring to V2. Any other thoughts on custom themes you had once there? Something maybe coming in that area. Yes, I think something will definitely be coming in that area, and it kind of goes to this question here from Rick as well. Is are you going to develop a paid pro version? And my vision for the application is that whenever you download the beta, everything you see there is already in the free version of H2R Graphics. And then from there, I will extend, add more free features, but then eventually add some paid features too that you can unlock in the same application with a license, one-time purchase, and get yourself access to more. It'll be called a pro license, and it would be considered pro features, but it's just a term used to describe them. But those kind of things will find their way into pro features. So I would imagine that some of the really custom CSS stuff might find its way in there. I'm just kind of throwing some stuff out here. So one thing I know that will definitely find its way out into the pro paid version would be multiple outputs that I showed off a few weeks ago on the stream. So in that case, you can say this graphic goes to output 1 and 2, and this graphic only goes to output 4. So that kind of stuff I think would be suitable for the paid version. But if you got a custom theme from David Joshua Ford, that's one thing you'd like to bring to V2. I'd have to think about that, definitely. Um, CSS is not currently editable in version 2, but I intend to change that in some sense in the future. So, kind of a work in progress there. Again, I'm just trying to get this beta out. It's been sitting on my computer for way too long, so it's time to get it out there and test it. And out it goes. Um, exactly. Go Web Technology says with H2R Graphics browser window, it's easy to use on a Pi, which is nice, really nice. Here's one. H2R does not have a working template. You have to give me more details on that. If there's anything in particular I can fix for you there. I pressed that a bit too fast, but here it is anyway. Co-op for 2 says excellent ability to show the output in a browser web page will be very useful. It makes it that much easier to switch between showing web pages and H2R output. That's true, and it really works well with things like vMix and OBS. In fact, that's what I'm using right now. vMix is showing this graphic on screen, so that you can see all of my graphics, and it's coming in nicely, looking good, and working well. So it's definitely worth uh, using something like that. Since it's all browser based and it's just so easy to key that stuff out. If you've used OBS or vMix or something similar, you'll understand exactly what I mean there. But of course, it still works with the ATEM, and you can still do chroma and luma keys and those kind of things too. Okay. AK Production says, by the way, there is a fundamental problem using chroma green and fading transitions, the score bug due to the team colors. Yeah, I find chroma green in general, I do. I'm not a huge chroma keying fan because I find it causes more issues, or causes quite a few issues whenever you key out that green and you get rid of green pixels. You can't really show images anymore. You couldn't show a video if you wanted to key out that. So graphics are really difficult whenever you do chroma keying, and it works in the ATEM, and it is a major issue. If you're talking specifically about the application, then we should chat about that definitely. But I'm not a huge chroma keying fan. I much prefer the Luma key because you can Luma out just black pixels, and it's quite unlikely that you use pure black anywhere but in that key. Even people's profile pictures mostly avoid black. Many images, there's not that much black in them, and there's some ways I've worked around that in the past. So, not a huge fan of chroma keying in general. It's gotten better on the later ATEMs, but on the older ones, it wasn't great at all. Go Web Technology says hopefully future versions will have access to H2R graphics outside the network. Interestingly, since it's all browser based now, I do need to do some tutorials on this kind of stuff just to explain it in the meantime. But since it's all browser based, you can actually use VPNs, for example, and VPN into a network. So if you watched and control all the graphics. So if you watched our return feed series here on the YouTube channel, you can check those out. They're in the past somewhere. Um, in that case, I was VPNing my iPad into Ryan's studio in Australia, and then he gave me back the link to visit on my iPad. Type that in, and I could see all of the. I showed it off a few times, but I could see all of the social comments coming in, and I could fire off any graphic I wanted through that method. So there is a way to do it right now outside the network. I would like to make it easier in the future though, because I don't really. It's one of those things. Whenever people told me that you can totally do that, just use a VPN, that was never a good enough answer for me, because I'm not a huge VPN user. Luckily, in my case, Ryan did all the work setting it up, but for me, I guess I just don't really use VPNs much, so I never really knew where to start with that stuff. But good question. We are fast approaching the half-hour mark, which means that we're going to head into the post-show in the next 5 minutes or so. If you're watching live, stick around. The post-show is viewable whenever you're live, which is perfectly fine. If you're watching on demand, the post-show is for members only, and you'll find a link to the post-show below this if you want to sign up, become a member, and watch the post-show, where I'll be answering lots more questions on all of this stuff and talking about lots of other features. But before we head in there, because I'm going to answer as many of these questions as I can anyway, I can see them all stacking up ahead of me for sure. I had a couple more things on the agenda that I want to get through, so let's just get those through now. One of the things was that I have been working on H2R Gear a little bit this week. Actually, for the last few months, I've been making some of these bigger changes that I've really wanted to make for the longest time, and I can finally say that I made them and released them in the last week. So let's just switch gears to that for a second. I'm in H2R Gear here, and most of the changes I've made are actually on the plans here. So for example, you might not see them right away, all of these fantastic changes, but one of them is the drawing mechanism has gotten a lot better and a lot clearer, and actually in other browsers it's a little bit easier now as well. And the pins, the cable pins, I thought they were very small, so I've made those a little bit bigger so you can really see what you're doing, and small little visual improvements like that. Something I wanted to fix for the longest time was if the labels were too long or the connection names were too long, they were really looking funky and running off, but now I've tidied all that stuff up. Which brings me to one of the major changes I made here in this version was whenever you go to the add gear, there's actually a very different process now for adding gear to your plan. So you can search between my gear or the community library. In my case, I don't know really if I have much stuff on this account, but everything you see so far is in the standard version where you've got some separation here. But one of the improvements I've made, and it's just a pro feature right now, is if you start, let's see if this works because I think my internet's acting up. Okay, cool. If you start typing in anything, for example, ATEM Mini here, then I get like an instant search for that term, and it tells me some recommended or similar terms that I might want to click on. So for example, ATEM Mini Extreme, I can click on that, and it will check for gear items. Now I am searching in my gear area right now, and I can see that I personally have two ATEM Mini Extremes. I'm not sure why, but I do. I'm trying to look at the difference between the two. They look very similar, but I have two of them. One is public to everybody, and the other one's private to me. Now if I go over to my community library over here, I can see those same ones because I've made one of them available, but I can also search for any other pieces of gear as well. So for example here, I could see that I have the ATEM Constellation 8K. Now I've only typed in ATEM, but I've able to give that that result. And we have two ATEM Constellation 8Ks in the community library. I should probably take a look at those and see if I can fix those at some point. But what you'll see is even if you type in something wrong, like ATEM Mini, okay, I can't be that wrong. So ATEM Mini, I'm still getting these results, and I can click on them and do a search for just that term, and it shows me similar terms. And now you have a few ATEM Mini Pros here, and ISO showing up as well. It seems like a small change if you haven't really used this much, but if you've used this a lot, I think you'll be very happy with this change for sure. It really speeds up the process and allows you not to make quite as many mistakes as you go through and add pieces of gear. I've always wanted to push this direction. The reason it's currently a pro feature is because it actually, the mechanism and the amount of equipment that people have added, thousands, yeah, actually, thousands of people have added thousands of pieces of gear. And to catalog and search through all that stuff, the system that I use is not a free service. So I'm just sort of testing the waters, so to speak, right now. It's cataloging all of those items and letting me do a index search of them all. And I kind of just want to see where it goes in terms of the cost. Because if I did some calculations, previously I did some calculations on the cost, and it scared me a little. So I'm testing it out. But if you're currently a pro or professional subscriber on H2R Gear, then check it out. And you can use it already and give me some thoughts along the way. Hopefully it works well for you. But it certainly sped things up a lot for me. That's one of the final updates. The other update I really wanted to show was, as we now are in the beta phase of H2R Graphics, excuse me, one of the things I was working on this past weekend was sort of where it's going to go after this. Once I've, made all these changes and I'm happy with the work I've done, a lot of the graphics out of the gate will be pretty, like I've shown here on the show already. So for example, my lower thirds sliding in, text is there, the background stays where it is, and you make all the changes before and then you animate them into the page. And I just posted this on the Discord and on Instagram yesterday to give a quick demo of this kind of animation that I'm pushing towards in the future version, definitely. So this is just a little code building app that I sometimes throw some ideas into and see how they work. But what you're seeing here is this is all CSS based. This is all editable. I can change the colors of all this stuff. I can change how it looks and how it acts. I can change what it says in here. So I can change this to Sean Parker, my alter ego. And once it refreshes, this is not a live tool. This is very much a demo building tool. But once that refreshes down, you can see that the text has now changed. So it's not a baked file that you have to build in After Effects and change in there. But instead it's very similar to my graphics that I'm showing here on the screen, where the text is editable, the background color is editable and all that stuff, but it takes it a step further and it just adds a little bit more, flair. I can't think of a better word than that, to the graphics themselves. So a little bit more interest. I'm not looking for the most flashy graphics in the application. That's not really where I see H2R Graphics going. I just kind of want to add just a little bit more interest, and in the future I'll bring these kind of things into the graphics application. Not available right now in the beta version because it's very much a proof of concept right now, and I'll get to it whenever I can. But yeah, that's kind of a look forward at where graphics is going. Like I said before, if you want to get your hands on H2R Graphics today, version 2, I'm trying to find where I posted the website. Here it is, H2R.graphics is where you go, start, put in your email address, and you will have to go through GDPR, blah, blah, blah. But after that, you'll get an email with the download link and you can grab the Mac OS or Windows version. Give it a test. Let me know on Discord, or you'll find some links in that email of how to get in touch if there's any issues along the way. And I'm sure we can fix whatever pops up along the way. We are now going to go into the post-show. So stick around if you're watching live. I'm going to be gone for a few seconds. But if you're watching on demand, you can always watch the post-show later. I just want to thank the members of the channel. I always appreciate people who are willing to become members here on the channel. But I want to specifically appreciate the supreme supporters, as they're called, Jairis, Petra Taekwondo, Patrick, and also Jim at Cloud Bedrock, who have went that extra mile and become supreme supporters on the channel. So I'll see you in a few seconds for the post show, and don't go anywhere. Coming right back.